Hello, I'm Ginger Chang. Welcome to USTC360. It's great to see you again. Today, we follow a group of 23 Tzu Chi Collegiate Youths, or Tzu Chings, on their international volunteer trip to South Africa. The origins of Tzu Ching, which means compassionate youth in Chinese, began in 1991 when a group of 20 college students in Taiwan accompanied Master Cheng Yen in visiting the poor and did volunteer work at the Tzu Chi Hospital. Since then, Tzu Ching groups have been established on college campuses all over the world, including the United States. For the American college students who participated in the volunteer program, they say traveling to the cities of Johannesburg and Durban has been an eye-opening experience. Instead of spending their summer vacation on fun and leisure, the collegiate youths were happy they had used their free time to tutor the South African students in English and become older brothers and sisters for the children to look up to. In March 2011, at a workshop at the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, Tola Kili Mkhize and Gladys Njima, two Zulu South African Tzu Chi volunteers, shared their stories with an American audience.
I was living in the forest, among the bushes with the wild animals, because of I was a victim of political violence. Brother Michael Penn.
They spoke of overcoming obstacles and becoming not only self-sufficient, but as leaders and community activists. This information was also shared at many other locations across the United States.
So they must be clear.
Next time, yes, you will. Yes. Yeah. We'll see you soon.
Their month-long trip to the United States was a success, and they left for home having met new friends and gained renewed energy for their charitable work.
Our
motivation was Tzu Chi's UN ECOSOC status and the visit from our Zulu volunteers. This trip was a blessing because for the first time, Master Cheng Yen allowed US Tzu Chings to volunteer abroad in South Africa.
The Tzu Ching going to South Africa wouldn't be going empty-handed. Volunteers from across America gather school supplies and tuck them into handmade pencil boxes sewn from donated fabric.
Yes, it's for the AIDS survivors, for the children in South Africa. And I thought that was really a worthy project to try to take on, especially when you had to make 2,000 pencil cases in such a short time. I tried to give my little bit of help.
For the most part, I think this will be an eye-opening experience for everyone, and it's difficult to really predict what will happen, but whatever does happen, I think it will be definitely a transformational experience.
Many people, when they take their vacations, choose to go to tourist locations, and that's fun, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that going to a place where I have the opportunity to meet real, everyday people, to work with them, to talk with them, I think that will you just give me a new perspective on people and the world.
In turn, the South African Tzu Chi volunteers did everything they could to welcome the youth from the United States.
And it's actually we spent a whole month to fix the floors, to fix the ceilings and put the curtains and actually go and buy beds and put it allocated in each rooms. We're trying our best to make sure that the US families they can have a very comfortable stay in South Africa and in Johannesburg.
After a very long flight of 15 to 20 hours, the Tzu Chi Collegiate volunteers finally arrived in Johannesburg. The little irritations of traveling quickly faded as they looked forward to their future experiences.
First bow. Second bow.
These Tzu Chi Collegiate volunteers from all across the United States first attended orientation.
I am Kevin from Northern California. Hi, I'm Yuning from Michigan.
And then it's your turn to... Go fast, go fast!
The sky and the earth is our floor. Now it's winter time in South Africa, but we really felt much of your warmth you have brought from the United States, as well as our local Tzu and Tzu Ching, their warmth to cope with this cold winter.
Meanwhile, South African volunteers prepared warm, healthy, and tasty vegetarian meals for the college students, knowing that they need all their energy in the days ahead.
Well, I personally love bok choy, and it's healthy, so I'm eating healthier, so it's good. And I love how they use the soybean products and the tofu to substitute for the meat, and it makes it delicious. And the sauces they use, it's good. Yeah, everything's delicious.
South Africa, in some ways, is still under the shadow of apartheid. The country's widespread poverty and illiteracy is overwhelming. It's important to understand the colored population's long struggle for self-determination and empowerment, and to know how far they've already come. The Apartheid Museum shows the cruel, violent separation of South Africa's whites and colored in an immersive way.
In order to help the people that we want to help, we need to better understand their past and what it is about their history that has made their lives so much more difficult. It was kind of a somber moment for all of us, but at the same time very educational, and I think it really helps us understand what life is like here in South Africa. Hopefully we will see firsthand soon, but definitely a good introduction before we get started.
The legacy of apartheid has left a lot of suffering from the people. So Ikamva Youth is helping the learners from the disadvantaged families. They come here to be helped in their studies. Tzu Chi Foundation came to help with lunch, with noodles, even books from international volunteers. And now children are focusing, and then they're having good marks. Our program here is made such that it's different from a school. A school, a teacher commands the class, is in charge of the class. But here, the learners are in charge of their own learning. So that is why at Ikamva Youth we say the future is in our hands. So we inculcate a culture of self-responsibility from these learners.
But Ikamva Youth wasn't the only education center aided by Tzu Chings on their journey. At Addington Primary School in Durban, the Tzu Chi Collegiate volunteers were able to help South Africa youth more directly.
North America. Okay, excellent. Very clever, all of you.
Any volunteers? Raise your hands.
And remember, no matter what challenges or hardships or obstacles, okay, come in your way, always remember that you, every one of you have unlimited potential.
Because I am originally from South Africa, I spent 8 years here growing up. So South Africa has always been a very special place for me, and coming back, it feels like homecoming. The kids who attend that school are still very poor. Some are without families, and some have, some illness as well. But our task is to bring them some information from the U.S. and also lessons that we have learned from Tzu Chi. So what we have done is teach them some still thought, Jing Si Yu, and kind of encouraging them to do good for their society and letting them know and believe that they have unlimited potential to help others.
Two schools were visited simultaneously, with half of the Tzu Chings visiting Duff's Road Primary School.
It's going to be an amazing experience, and I can't wait to get to know these kids, and hopefully they'll accept us.
Today we're going to Duff's Road, and I'm looking forward to it. We're meeting a lot of kids there, and we're meeting them for the first time. It's kind of
a big question mark hanging over our heads because we don't know what we're expecting, but it's going to be great to spend a week with them and see how they can interact with us and how we can interact with them and learn from them also.
Duff's Road is smaller than Addington Primary and lacks an assembly hall.
Tzu Chi was doing a lot, getting into the school and helping the poorer families, the vulnerable children, the orphans. So basically the social challenges facing the children was enormous. It's just a grandmother with a meager income trying to help the children along. Because there was nobody else, otherwise it meant them going to a shelter.
The school is about 30 years old. It's been this prefab building and it's been in derelict, neglected because of the funds from the department has not been coming forth in repairing. So the classrooms, have been infested with termites. The building is rotting because it just was supposed to be temporary, but it's gone for 30 years.
I could just see that the kids were so excited and they were positive. And I was just talking to another teacher and I said, I think it's that positive energy, that love that is just there. We can just feel it.
I guess the worst question I've asked so far was actually from a student of mine, and they asked me, when do you think you're going to come back? And I honestly I didn't have an answer for them, and I told them I'd be back next year, but I hope I'll be back next year because this was a wonderful experience, and I would love to share another 7 days with these students and be able to teach them again, and hopefully that we both can learn from each other.
According to UNICEF, the South African government spends 20% of its total state expenditures on education, which places it as one of the countries with the highest rate of public investment in this sector. Under the South African Schools Act of 1996, education is compulsory for all boys and girls from the ages of 7 to 15. However, getting the children to school and keeping them there is half the challenge, especially in rural communities where kids from disadvantaged backgrounds have to work extra hard to achieve their dreams because they face poverty, long walks to school, and a lack of educational material. Fortunately, since 2003, Tzu Chi has been holding annual book drives for South African children. So when Tzu Chi US volunteers arrived with books and supplies for the students, it meant a great deal to them, because about 80% of the schools in South Africa have no library. South Africa is a place of great divides. The wealthy have access to luxuries that wouldn't be out of place in a first world country, but it's also a country where a person can reach seemingly inescapable poverty that stretches from horizon to horizon with only a 20 to 30-minute drive.
When
the government was planning the city, the townships of Tembisa and Soweto became black communities. Tembisa, which is in the north, is densely populated with aging buildings. School constructions, medical facilities, even the sewer systems are subpar. Educational resources are also inadequate, which has led to the high unemployment rate. And even for the students who do graduate, if they are not accepted into the city colleges, they end up having to take on part-time jobs in rural areas.
South African Tzu Chi volunteers have an amazing charity program to help the suffering of the poor, and they allowed the USTC youth to accompany them on their home care visits. Many of these homes are the ones where students from Calfontein Primary School live, a school where one of the book and stationery distributions were to take place.
All of the schools that Tzu Chi help, and also many more schools actually facing the same situations, which is our shortage of the textbook. Textbook actually was delivered by their education department in South Africa. But the thing is, only about 1/3 to 1/2 of the students will have the textbooks. That's actually general difficulties facing in South African schools. So don't mention about doing homework with your textbook in your house. This is not going to happen in South African school.
On a bright South African morning, over 1,000 children lined up to receive toothpaste, a toothbrush, a pencil box, and a book. Tzu Ching volunteers made the most of their time and took the opportunity to teach the children good dental hygiene.
And then return, then brush inside again.
The school children, South Africa Tzu Chi volunteers, and the Tzu Chings from the US also shared songs with each other. Like all Tzu Chi distributions, a sign language performance expressing love and care was given to the children, and all the items were given with a bow of respect.
Today's event is very grateful to us. It's helpful because our kids now, they will know how to brush their teeth. They will use their books, how to read and write.
I knew we would be visiting schools. I knew we would be talking to kids, but these kids are so cute. They really melt your heart. I don't know, yeah, I wish we could stay longer.
Distributions were also held at Addington Primary School. The youth at Addington were advanced enough in their English classes to read the Jingsi aphorisms for themselves.
It is not our trouble that we achieve only this kind of trouble is meaningful.
Wealth does not always represent good fortune. True good fortune is peacefulness.
We should speak gently and behave kindly so that people around us can feel warm and happy.
If you can maintain harmony with others, you can do anything.
You always bring the same message to us, the message of being grateful and the message of love. And that's the universal law, isn't it?
We've always enjoyed a good relationship with Tzu Chi. The children have grown over the years. They have seen what it is to be part of a bigger society and how everyone together can make the society better.
We are so grateful to be having the Tzu Chi people here. Otherwise, they mean a lot to our school. And we hope that our relationship with Tzu Chi people is going to last for many, many years to come.
In the end, the United States Tzu Ching volunteers came all the way to South Africa to encourage its population, specifically the youth, to rise above their means and improve themselves and their country. It's with great hope that the kind thoughts and loving support of Tzu Chi, both South Africa and abroad, can help the South African nation heal, be it in body, heart, mind, or soul. According to UNESCO's Institute for Statistics, 1 million children in South Africa live in households where no adult can read, and just over 50% of South African families own no books for recreational or leisure reading. UNESCO's study also reported, in comparison of education statistics around the world, the teacher-to-pupil ratio in South Africa is 1 to 31, whereas in the US, that number is 1 to 14. Literacy is a fundamental right and is the key in achieving education for everyone. In addition, it is absolutely essential if poverty is to ever be eradicated. Education is also one of Tzu Chi's 4 main missions and has become a cornerstone of the Foundation's charity work not only in South Africa and America, but on an international level. In our next segment, Footprints, we introduce you to Alice Chen, who helped plan the curriculum and orientation for the college students' trip to South Africa. Alice began to participate in Tzu Chi when she was 10 years old because her mom was a volunteer. South Africa holds a special place in Alice's heart because she has actually lived there. Let's now see how it felt for Alice to be back in one of the places which she considers as her home.
Hi, my name is Alice and I come from Boston. I'm currently one of the officers in Boston Tzu Ching. On this South African journey, I was also part of the curriculum team, so I helped with the orientation, such as getting to know more and really familiarizing themselves with the Tzu Chi values and missions. Some of the activities that we have been doing are visiting schools, and we go to these schools teaching students about still thought masters' teachings, as well as basic hygiene methods and techniques. And we also distributed a lot of books we got from America. We got about 20,000 or more books to donate. We also visited AIDS patients and we helped clean them and just entertain them and showing our love and care for them. We also fed the orphans here, which was a very fun experience.
The local Tzu Chi volunteers prepare delicious hot meals for lunch, so we're here to help them pack the lunches and give them to the children. I was cooking the rice before. It was a really big pot of rice, and the wooden spatula I used to stir the rice was really heavy too.
I'm really happy to be here. I'm so inspired by all my teammates from the USA, and I've seen so much growth and development in every one of them. I can't wait to take all that I have felt and seen and learned here from South Africa back to share with more people, inspire them. Hopefully next year we can have even more people come to help South Africa.
Alice is currently studying at Harvard University's Graduate School of Education. She plans to pursue a career in field of education because she sees how schooling makes a huge difference in shaping everyone's lives. If she has the chance to return to South Africa, Alice says she would hold a first aid workshop session for the college students and Tzu Chi volunteers in the US. That way, she can raise as many first aid kits as possible since medical resources are lacking in South Africa. Another project Alice is also piloting now is a pen pal project between South African kids and Tzu Chi Collegiate Youths in America. I am Ginger Chang. Please join us next week for the second part of our feature on South Africa.